Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into a tool that performs a very specific, everyday kind of magic. It's called Multical, and it's all about seamlessly keeping track of the people and the cultural moments you care about most. If you've ever felt that awful sting of missing a major family milestone just because your standard calendar app didn't remind you, well, you're in exactly the right place. We're going to unpack how Multical works and why it is so incredibly different from the default calendars we're all so used to relying on.
So, have you ever lost track of a moving cultural date? It's this quiet but incredibly relatable frustration. You see, billions of people around the world track important dates on calendars that are not the standard Gregorian calendar, the one almost every app just assumes we use. Because these cultural calendars don't perfectly align with standard dates the same way every year, things move. A birthday on a certain day this year is going to land on a completely different standard date next year. Major observances like Ramadan shift, anniversaries move. Every single year, without fail, they jump around the calendar. And honestly, it is so easy to lose track. You're busy, life is moving fast, and suddenly, boom, you realize you missed a crucial observance or a loved one's special day because your app just didn't know how to warn you. The old way of dealing with this, it's literally just guessing or worse, completely forgetting. Right now, to handle this shifting date problem, people are manually looking up the date online every single year. You open up a search engine, try to find the conversion, and add it to your agenda for this year only. Mainstream calendar apps just do not natively understand this problem. I mean, sure, a few apps might show you today's date in another system as a tiny little label, but that's really where they stop. They don't help you plan, and they definitely don't adapt. So how do we actually fix this? Well, Multical takes a totally different approach. It explicitly supports 4 major calendar systems right from a single account: the Islamic Hijri calendar, the Persian calendar, the Hebrew calendar, and the Hindu calendar. This means you are no longer juggling separate conversion tools or downloading all these specialized apps just to keep track of your own family's lives. If you have friends celebrating according to the Hijri calendar and family following the Hebrew calendar, Multical handles them both simultaneously. It honors the way our modern diverse lives actually look, without forcing you to do complicated math or bounce between apps. This brings us to the core promise, and it is radical in its simplicity. You tell Multical a date exactly once in whichever calendar system it actually belongs to. Say it's a birthday in the Hindu calendar. You just enter it as that. That's it. You're completely done. Multical then automatically figures out what standard date that corresponds to correctly every single year going forward for decades. It projects the correct date forever. You're moving from a system of constant, annoying manual labor to a system of total automation. You really don't have to be a calendar expert to make sure you're showing up for the people you love. And the ultimate relief here is the zero maintenance. Most conversion tools out there will do this as a one-time thing, right? Just for the current year. But Multical quietly rolls that projection forward automatically behind the scenes. You set it once, and it is accurate forever. Just imagine the mental load that takes off your shoulders. For millions of people, these dates aren't just casual entries on a screen. They are deep cultural touchstones. Knowing that this system is quietly and faithfully maintaining those connections in the background without you having to lift another finger is absolutely huge.
Now, this is where a lot of standalone apps completely fail. We all suffer from app fatigue, right? Nobody wants to check a brand new calendar app every single morning. Multical completely solves this by living exactly where you already are. The dates you enter show up as real, normal events directly inside Google Calendar, Apple Calendar, or Outlook. There is absolutely nothing new to open. It just writes directly into the calendar you're already checking every day, seamlessly syncing across your phone or your laptop. It respects your existing habits and honestly just makes them way smarter. Okay, let's shift gears for a second, because remembering the date is actually only half the problem. The other half, and this is the part that causes the most panic, is actually doing something meaningful when that day arrives. You know the feeling. Your calendar pings, you realize it's a major milestone today, and you scramble. You show up empty-handed, or you send a really generic rush text message. Well, Multical goes far beyond just the date with a feature called Smart Greetings. This is all about helping you show up beautifully. It ensures that you aren't just aware a day is coming, but that you are truly prepared to celebrate it with a thoughtful gesture. To make these smart greetings work, it gets personal, but it remains entirely private. You write one short,
totally private note about the person you care about. Just a few words like, loves gardening, gets emotional over old photos, recently retired from teaching. You do this exactly once, and I really want to emphasize this, especially when you're comparing Multical to other options out there. This note is stored securely and entirely privately. It is never sent anywhere, it is never shown to anyone but you, and you can easily delete it anytime you want. It's basically your own personal cheat sheet for being an incredibly thoughtful friend.
So, how does that private note actually turn into an amazing experience? When that person's occasion approaches, you don't just get a stressful ping on the day of. Instead, you receive a heads-up email well in advance, giving you real, actual time to act. Multiple automatically drafts a warm, highly personalized message based directly on your note, and it even suggests fitting gift ideas, like a vintage frame for those old photos or a rare plant for their garden. It takes what used to be a last-minute scramble and transforms it into a calm, thoughtful, and prepared celebration. You get to review the ideas, tweak the draft if you want to, and just be ready. The absolutely crucial point here, and I literally cannot stress this enough, is that you are always in complete control. It is always your choice. Nothing is ever sent automatically. Multical only ever suggests. It completely respects the authenticity of your relationships. You always read the drafted message. You decide if it perfectly captures what you want to say, and you choose to press send yourself. And it makes that sending process incredibly easy. With just one tap, you can send your approved message straight into WhatsApp, Telegram, or your email. It takes all the friction out of being thoughtful without ever putting words in your mouth without your explicit permission.
For millions of people, these shifting dates are not just minor calendar entries. They're religious observances, deep family milestones, and the cultural touchstones that bind us together. Losing track of them means losing touch with something that deeply matters. Other calendar tools just show you a date. Multical makes sure you never miss the people and moments that matter. It runs quietly in the background, keeping you connected forever. Which leaves me with a question to pass on to you. What relationship in your life could you strengthen today if you never had to worry about forgetting the days that matter most to them?